Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I record these videos and sprinkle in a few little nuggets here and there because I'm just trying to help people. In this video, I'll still do the same thing, but we can do double help because this is a little parcel from M. She's got a stone that she sent me a couple photos of through Facebook, but as a beginner, it is very scary when you hit some color on a really dark piece of Lightning Ridge material and you really don't want to stuff it up, so she paused and stopped and sent me a message instead. And rather than working on it herself, she would rather that I had a little bit of a crack at it. So it's already been pre-worked a bit. We're going to hope that there's not too much damage done to it and that we can salvage it and finish it off and get a nice shiny little stone out of it. If I read the message it's got on the back of a postage letter: "Hi Roy, my rock is wrapped in tissue. The baggie is a prezi for you. Cheers, M." Let's have a look at the main piece. So this is what we're going to try to finish off. She captured it on camera and sent it my way, and I could have a bit of a look at it, but I couldn't see too well. It did look like it had a bit of something in it though. So I can already see here there's a little bit of a fracture point where that corner wants to come off. Tiny pocket of sand there, but the rest of it looks pretty clean. I'm trying to look at the finish on the stone and determine what it's been hit with most recently. It doesn't look like it's just been attacked with electroplated burrs, which is good. We are starting to get to that frosty stage. I'll dip a little bit of water, dip it in some water in a second. If you are going to work on other people's stones or rubs that people have already worked, the number one thing is to just take an extra minute or two just studying the stone. Believe it or not, I study stones that have been pre-worked far more than I do with the rough. When a stone comes out naturally, you've kind of got a bit of you've got an idea of what nature's done. When you've done a couple hundred stones, they do form some patterns and you pick up on those quick. But once a person has touched it, it's yeah, all the rules are out the window. So let me bring a tub of water. Alright, here we are with a tub of water. Okay, so it's one of those ones where we're pretty much right down to it, but that could have some thickness there. It could be deceptive. It does have a dark body tone, which is what I saw in the picture and what I think made M so nervous. As soon as you get a dark body tone stone, it's game on when the color sits right in it. So there's a bit of a podgy corner here. I don't know if the bar goes under it, but in essence what we're looking at is a stone right in this section here. Double check, make sure we're not missing anything. The potch is a little bit modeled, like that magpie potch kind of looking thing. You've got the dark areas, the lighter areas. I really don't like when I see that because a lot of the time that can be quite unstable in comparison to just a single solid color. But this one doesn't have a lot of cracks, it doesn't have a lot of sand just over here, which doesn't seem to get in the way of the color. Maybe this pocket over here might be a little bit annoying, and you can see where that sand is. You can see that the potch goes really light grey around it. That's the kind of stuff I always worry about. But no, this stone, I think we can finish this off. It's actually not that far off. With a bit of extra practice and some confidence, M would be able to finish this no worries. But just to be safe, it's been sent my way and we're just going to see if we can pretty much reshape this stone so the back will actually be kind of a line across here. We'll remove that corner so it sits nice in this direction. We're going to still do some trimming around the edges, and then we're going to tidy up the bar. We're not going to hit it with anything like a sintered diamond burr. Even the 600 will be going back too far. At this point, you'd be looking at going with your 280 Nova, maybe even skipping that straight to 600 because it does already have that frosty finish and no deep scratches on it. It's a little bit of subdued stone, but who knows, maybe just peeling off a tiny little fraction of the front face will make it pop a little bit more out. We can definitely try to get rid of some of this potchy area. We'll get rid of this ugly thing over here. But, you know, I can already see somewhat of an oval shaping up. Even at this point, we're going to have to spin up and see how we go. It's an unpredictable beast, but I see us getting something out of this. So I think we will not have to worry about any backup plans. We'll just run with this and get it done. So let me get the tools out and let's get going. Alright, so this is that plan on paper. So I've just textured it all over the place, just a permanent marker, pretty standard. I've marked in any of these big cracks or chips or divots, and I've also marked off the back where I want to cut it down. I've done a rough little outline shape right off the edge of the bar, not on the actual color bar. You want to pull up short, especially because we're about to hit this with the 80 grit sintered diamond. Now, it is absolutely game over, or at least a huge setback if we hit that face with this 80 grit sintered diamond, because that color bar is completely exposed. To be really safe and secure, you want to be able to hold the stone, and of course dopping is an option, but first, step one is always getting yourself a nice stable flat base. You'll be shocked at how much this helps. You can put it flat on your finger like this, and a lot of the time I'm rotating it around with one hand like this. Even if you're going to use two hands, it will slide around and sit flat against your finger so much better. You can have a much better control and a much better look at the color bar, so that's super important. And then panic stations. We're taking the edges in with the 80 grit sintered diamond. This is by far the most risky part, because as I'm dramaticizing here, if it grips and tries to fly away from you, you want to make sure that the color bar is not in the way. So that's why I'm cutting it on that angle. You can see here I'm now demonstrating in another angle. Here you won't hit the color bar. If you rotate it around and had the color bar on the side where your burr wants to spin to, you are in for a super bad time. We cannot afford to clip the face of this with the 80 grit. We just can't do it. To repair that and get that scratch out, there'd be absolutely no hope. We'd be losing way too much color. So we're definitely going to grind in the edges, but don't go all the way. We want to switch to the 600 grit sintered diamond. So this is about that time. You can see I've left that little sand spot, but we'll work that out with the 600. Any little chips or anything are going to be hugely detrimental, so we can't do that. Then we're going to go back and we're going to try to remove this little black potch in the face. Now I'm going to let the audio play during the cut to show you how much stress this is for someone like me. I've done this so many times, but no matter how many times you do it, especially when it's someone else's stone, you're begging to the opal gods for this to work out. I've chosen the 800 grit hard resin burr. This is the coarsest burr I'm going to touch the face with, and you can see here I'm just sweeping it off, getting rid of that permanent marker line, and right there, right under that glare, you can see the actual potch that I'm trying to get rid of. Have a listen. Come on. Get out. Oh, it's trying. So you can see from that live little shot of me actually making a few little moans and groans as I'm going along. It is super stressful, but you can see I have pretty much gotten it out. We were super lucky. I'll talk about it a bit more later, but then we're going to finish it off with the 1500 grit hard resin burr, and then going to switch over to the cerium oxide, which I spent quite a bit of time on. You really don't need to spend too much time on it. It acts pretty quickly as long as you've got a decent quality cerium oxide. And since I'm using my own favorite one, then it's very comfortable for me to get a pretty good polish on this very quickly. But at the same time, I really love this step, and I have lost absolutely hours and hours of my life. If I could do this one step full time, I probably would. That's how much I love the cerium oxide polishing. So if anyone's looking for a full-time cerium oxide opal polisher, I'm your man. Get in touch. I'll quit the channel and just do this because it is super relaxing and super fun, and I just love seeing the result. So let's have a look at the result of this one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a absolute grind, and probably the most stressed I've been in a while. I had the adrenaline running there when I was trying to take the potch out of the face, and it has mostly come out. It's got a few little spots, but that's not too surprising when it had that much potch in the face. Now, as you can see, it's a fairly subdued color bar. It is a pretty strong dark body tone though, and a fairly playful stone, predominantly green, a little bit of blue. In this top corner over here, if I put it on a bit of an angle, you can see it has a little bit of a red-yellow flash. I was talking to Em about it on Facebook, and that was a little patch that she'd hoped that would cover across the rest of the stone, but as you can see, it kind of just terminates there, that little corner of yellow. All in all, mostly green, a little bit of blue, a little directional, but not too bad. If it was a bit less subdued, this would be an absolute cracker of a stone. Now I've left it nice and tall and thick so we can choose the thickness. I was going to get some of my bezel wire out and just measure it up and see where it would be cut. Depends on what the stone's going to be used for. If it's going to be a pendant or a ring stone, probably a ring stone at this size. It's like a 13 by 9. So yeah, just got to hold it up against the flat lap and grind it down to wherever you want to mark your line. It's going to be a very low dome stone. As you can see, I have evened out the color bar a bit. It was very lopsided, but now it's come out a little bit flatter. Just going to measure your distance from the top of this edge where the bezel will sit over the top. And it'll probably come down to right about where this little potch line here is. It's actually a bit of a phantom bar. There are a few in this piece of rough. That's where it looks like it's gonna hit into a color bar, but it's just this thin little weird colored line. A lot of the time it's got that bluish kind of color to it. Super annoying stuff. I'm glad that I was a little bit worried at one point about this sand spot over here. It's still there, but I think it does terminate. It's just that you never quite know, and I didn't want to drill in any further onto this side. It's not like that tiny little spot's going to destabilize it or anything like that. And the material's taken a really good polish. If you look at the front surface, it's just, yeah, a little bit subdued, a little bit directional. All in all, I'm glad I saved a stone out of it. It's pretty stressful when you get someone else's stone and it's already right on that color bar. So as you can see, I was really careful. And the best part of this stone is it's managed to get a few tips out of me that I haven't put up on the channel yet. So hopefully a really helpful video. As well as getting Em a decent stone, pretty happy with it. I was really stressed about some of the cracks. I thought there might have been some crazing setting in, as you can see over, actually probably on the back you can see it the best. See how you can see these little cracks and stuff running along here? I'm sure that will just grind out nice and easy, but it'll come off as a big flake. I don't think it's going to be too bad. Once you get towards the color bar, it's much better quality. But yeah, the back and the sides had me a little bit concerned with a lot of these little flakes coming off. You can see this one's really close to the surface. You can see that layer underneath it. That'll come flying off when I press it up against the flat lap, I'm sure. And I was going to try not to touch the face, but I just have, and now I've got a streak across there. Fantastic. Pretty happy. I've already sent Em a couple of dodgy photos, ones that didn't reveal too much, and now she'll be able to see the video and have a close look. We might just bring it a little bit closer to the camera. Here you go, much closer to the camera. Now you can really, oh no. Now you can really see the streaks across the surface, but you can also see the color a little bit better. Subdued, but still very playful and on a really dark body tone, which makes it even better. If it was a light body tone, this would not be as impressive, but as you can see, it is actually a decent stone. Catch you guys later. Stay safe, have fun. Good luck with your carving.